you miss the malcontent is there a malcontent missing from the locker room that you wish you had, or
malcontent?
Yeah.
And welcome to Overtime, brought to you by KingsCast at www.kingscast.net. I'm Keith Korneluk.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski.
And we are back from Staples Center once again, and yada, 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 the Kings lost.
Yeah, that's right, Kings fans. We're back with yet another episode. We're stoked to be back as well. Here to talk about the road trip, talk about the Vancouver game, and also talk about the Preds game that took place tonight at Staples.
So here we go, is episode 178, entitled Sup with Mike Richards.
All right, Kings fans, so going into the road trip, the Kings had obviously played that one really flat game, after the post-banner raising against the Blackhawks, who incidentally are a pretty damn good team, it turns out to be.
Oh, yeah.
They hit the road trip for it was a pretty dicey road trip. I mean, we're talking about playing their first three games against three of the fastest teams in the league. I mean, you got Chicago is just they just don't match up well against those teams. So they shoot over onto Colorado and play the speedy team like the Avs, and Kings did something they really rarely did last year, which was melt down in the third period.
Almost
disturbing trend.
Never happens. Absolutely never happens. And then on to Edmonton, and kind of a weird game there. I mean, Edmonton Oilers definitely looking a lot better. I mean, I know they're going to be an elite team, down the road. I don't think this season. No. Certainly a weird overtime goal by Nail Yakupov and that celebration. I didn't really care. It was his first goal as a rookie. And it was in overtime. He won the game. You know what? Skate down the ice. Teemu Selanne did the thing with the rifle. And,
right.
Back in the day, relaxed Don Cherry. But, definitely concerning as a Kings fan there, going, what it was at 0-2-1 by then. Then, we get down to Phoenix and, normally that would have been a tough game. Luckily for us, Jason LaBarbera, former LA King, he was in goal. So I pretty much guaranteed a win there.
Yeah, great game on all levels for the Kings. Kopitar got on the board. Things were starting to come together. I felt like it was kind of like where we left off last year during the Western Conference Finals, because the Kings I felt like they dominated them. It was great to get that first win because, we talk about Stanley Cup hangover. The Kings have it. They are hungover. It's just a fact. So it's huge to get that first win. So thank you, Coyotes.
Interesting stat, Chris, I read, and I'm not going to be accurate 100% here, but when Anze Kopitar...
He's French-Canadian all of a sudden.
When Anze Kopitar... when Anze Kopitar scores a goal in a Kings game, there's something like 90, 20, and 6.
Yeah, sounds about right.
He's pretty much, got to score every game.
Kings back at home against the Vancouver Canucks, and a great rematch. I mean, obviously we have some history with this team. I think we have sort of a nice little rivalry budding with this team. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going back to 2010 with the playoffs. Obviously they ousted us, and then last year, of course, where we knocked them out 8-1.
Boom.
Still awesome. I still watch that Stoll goal all the time. In Game 5, it's on my little YouTube.
He's like the nouveau Adam Deadmarsh.
Right.
Kind of, yeah.
He really is. But playing the Canucks down 2-0 pretty quickly, and it's looking like this season's getting away from us quickly.
And then the Kings turn it around. Jeff Carter with the goal, Voinov with the goal. They go into overtime and then do a shootout.
Let's talk about that Voinov goal a little bit quick. When was the last time that you remember the Kings scoring on a pulled goalie situation with a minute remaining? I mean, I know we tried all the time, but it seems to never work out. But Voinov, that puck had eyes.
Well, apparently it was 2011, but I hadn't actually seen it in, 3-4 years. I mean, it's never worked. So, I mean, that was certainly nice to see. Of course, the Kings winning in the shootout. A lot of drama on the Canucks side. Roberto Luongo getting the start, who actually looked pretty good for most of the game there. But I really thought that the Kings had really turned it on. They fought back through adversity. To me, it was the stepping stone to winning the next 6 in a row like the Chicago Blackhawks. And it looked good for one game.
What's happening, Kings fans? Here we go. It's Kings Preds. Kings game on a huge 2-game win streak. I'm feeling it, guys. I'm wearing my lucky number 3 Jack Johnson jersey. By lucky, I mean lucky we traded and won the cup. 3-2 Kings.
Coming into tonight, Nashville Predators in town, and I mean, God, they're terrible. They're really missing Ryan Suter and, any real top 6 forward. So, I kind of felt that we had this kind of thing in the bag. You know what I mean? The Kings were kind of on an uptick. It looked like they're, getting their stuff together. And, first period, lo and behold, let in a goal like 25 seconds in.
Yeah, less than a minute there. You hate to do that, especially this Kings team. They just seem like they're not built to have these huge comebacks. They're just not. They're a score first team and then lay back and let the defense and goaltending kick in. But luckily, they were finally able to get a power play goal, which has sort of been extremely difficult this year. And during the first period, I want to say they had 3 or 4 chances. They had plenty of power play chances, but luckily Dustin Brown, who really needed that goal, he was your captain. He's a guy who was, one of the best players during the postseason last year, and got a huge goal, got that power play goal, and it was 1-1 and headed into the second.
Chris, let me interject for a second here. I have an observation. Now, I have not been able to quantify it with any kind of tangible data, but I have a theory, and the theory is this, that the problem with the Kings power play is not Jamie Compon. It's not Davis Payne. The problem is the Disc Sport and Spine power play. So I need somebody, a statistician out there, to find out when Disc Sport and Spine started sponsoring these damn things. And let me know, but I'm pretty sure once they started sponsoring them, the Kings power play started tanking.
Yeah, that's no coincidence, guys. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's something with disc power play. We're just going to throw this out there, though. Maybe we'll start a Kickstarter fund. But I think KingsCast should be the supporter of the power play. The KingsCast power play.
I think so. Well, a couple $100,000, somebody's got to donate that. But
what up, Kings fans? First period is over, and I didn't like the fact they gave up a goal in 58 seconds. But Brown did get the equalizer on one of 4 power plays that they did have. So I'm going to say, as the educated journalist like myself, 4-1 Kings.
The second period tonight, I mean, this was a period where, if I was at home watching the game, I would have whipped out my phone and played Subway Surfer or something like that. I mean, I was just so disinterested, and both teams kind of looked that way as well. And, given the Kings had some good chances in the first period, it's just you're kind of looking for them to wake up. And, I can't believe after winning the Stanley Cup that we're still looking at this team and wondering when are they going to score? Why can't they score?
Yeah, it's sort of the same issue that we had really all season last year. It wasn't until the postseason where everyone just clicked at the same time. That's why they had that magical run. But we're back at square one, I feel like. Mike Richards titled the show.
What's up with Mike Richards?
Absent. I want to say he has 2 assists on the year. This is a guy who I think we count on a lot more.
I want to read a tweet from Mike Richards. It was on, here we go. It was on January 17th. He says, 75 and sunny in Cali today, and I'd still rather be in an ice shack. Hashtag is that bad.
Yes.
You didn't have to play hockey in October, November, or even December. I kind of want to know where he is. You know what I mean? I mean, Jeff Carter definitely pulling his weight. And I mean, God, a healthy Jeff Carter. I mean, he looks fantastic out there. But what's going on with Mike Richards? Where's that warrior that we saw in the playoffs? And I know he was, concussed and, last season he rehabbed a lot of injuries. But, coming into this season, this guy should have been nails and kind of been nothing.
Yeah, he's kind of been a dud. I mean, he's someone that we're really counting on. I mean, Kopitar can't do it all. I mean, clearly he's still sort of slowly getting back into the game, getting back into game shape again, and, still recovering from his injury. But, yeah, so we got Mike Richards. We're really counting on him. Jeff Carter, though, I think I think everyone's pretty excited about where he is. I think he's finally healthy. I don't think he was healthy all last year. No. Obviously when we got him, he was hurt a lot of the time. He wasn't really producing, but he's a guy that's all over the ice. He's the guy that now, when I see on the ice, I'm actually kind of stoked. I'm like, oh, okay, Carter's out there. He's got a great shot. He really tries to get himself into position. You can tell the confidence of everyone else around him is boosted when he's out there. So I like where his season's going.
All right, Kings fans, end of the second period. It is 1-1. Worst second period ever, not because the Kings crapped the bed or anything. It was just so boring. Terry Murray be loving this.
So going into the shootout, I was very surprised with the lineup. I'm not sure if it was sort of a mental game that the coach was playing, but to see Carter out there number 1, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. But then you see Richards and Brown, 2 guys who have really struggled offensively this year. I don't know if he was trying to, instill them with confidence, but I was really shocked not to see Kopitar in those first 3 because the shootout, he's made for the shootout.
No, so was I. I mean, I think Anze Kopitar should have been out there for sure. Mike Richards and Dustin Brown still got goals, which was great. And then you saw Drew Doughty come out, and who else came out? Justin Williams. I mean, it took a while for Anze Kopitar to get out there, and of course he scored a goal. I don't know if Daryl Sutter's trying to send a message. I mean, he's kind of like a weird get off the farm kind of guy. So, but really disappointing. Here's the thing. I pride myself on watching a fair amount of hockey, and there were people coming out in Nashville and like, who the hell is that guy again? I mean, literally, other than Shea Weber and Rich Clune and Mike Fisher, there's only a few people on Pecorine that I can name on the Nashville Predators, and it was very bizarre. I kind of felt, Chris, the way the Kings were playing tonight, that if we made it through overtime, we were going to win. Because, it's a shootout, you know what I mean? But in overtime, the Kings, would have found a way to lose, and they didn't. But I was really surprised that we lost tonight. Now, we're 2-2-2, so, we got 6 points, which is okay, you know what I mean?
I'm a very Kings fan, so the game is over. So after 20 rounds of the shootout, Kings lost, whatever, 2-1. Go Kings!
I mean, I think there are a lot of problems right now with the team. Everybody's kind of struggling. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Dustin Penner at this point, but at some point, something's got to click. And I just hope we're not that Kings team that squeaks into the playoffs and, I would love to win another Stanley Cup, don't get me wrong, but at some point, we're going to have to address these lingering issues of the Kings can't score or, whatever it is. So, Kings fans, your question of the day is, what are we going to do to fix this team, and what's up with Mike Richards? Leave your comments, as always, downstairs. All right, Kings fans, we'll be right back at you at some point rather soon. Haven't quite figured this whole season out quite yet, so don't forget, if you like the show, click the like button down below, the subscribe button right up top. We love it. We love you. I'm Keith Cornelick.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski.
Thank you for watching Overtime by KingsCast.